Now, as the season is upon us and it's summertime, it is May right now, I'm going to be dropping a lot of affordable watches here in the next few weeks. Trust me, for all those who love those luxury timepieces, that's coming up in the near future. But today, we're talking about this, Pierre Philippe, and specifically the 1940s field watch. This little beast packs quite a punch, but is it really a field watch? Now, welcome back to the channel. I'm Chase, and this is all things random, mostly affordable watch reviews with some random stuff sprinkled in between. Now, I have a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline, so if you're here, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really does help, and I really do appreciate it. Also, hit the notification bell because I have so many videos dropping coming up here in the near future. Now, as always, the details first of this watch, then my opinion at the very end. And trust me, you're going to want to hear my opinion at the very end. The case of this watch is 316L stainless steel, solid stainless steel case and solid stainless steel bracelet. Comes in at 38 millimeters in diameter, but honestly, it wears more like a 36 millimeter watch. I'll show you on my wrist in just a minute. Has a case thickness, even with that very domed K1 mineral crystal, of just under 10 millimeters. So this is going to slip underneath whatever shirt you're wearing quite easily. Has a lug-to-lug or overall footprint of just under 47, and it has a strap width or lug width of 20 millimeters. Now, the solid stainless steel bracelet that's on this is going to be a beads of rice style bracelet, which means it's multi-link and multi-finish. Now, one of the things that's so great about this bracelet is how comfortable it is and how much it wraps and hugs around your wrist. Now, this tapers down to a double butterfly clasp, which is not the greatest thing in the world, and we'll talk about the issue of a double butterfly clasp. Now, there is no micro adjustment, so the only adjustment you're going to have are going to be on the bracelet itself. Adjustable with push pins right here, so you know it's affordable when it has push pins as the marker of adjustability. Now, one of the things you'll find when it comes to something like this is the wearability and micro adjustment of this watch is almost zero. So once it is adjusted to your wrist, if anything changes, any environmental changes happen, such as it gets too hot or it gets too cold, you're going to find an issue. One of the issues is if it gets too cold, let's say, the watch is going to flop down your wrist, which nobody likes. And if it gets too hot, if you size this when your wrist is cold, then the issue is it's going to swell, your wrist is going to swell, then this thing is going to strangle your wrist, and it's extremely uncomfortable. Now, one of the things you can do to adjust this is put a watch back by chase straps on the back of this watch, which adds 1 to 2 millimeters of cushion on the case back. Now, the issue with that is that this has a manual wind, slightly decorated movement. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to cover that decorated movement with a slightly more comfortable wear, or do you want it exposed? Now, the bezel of this watch is slightly stepped, as you see here, and it comes off nicely from that domed crystal. Honestly, it's just super pleasing to the eye that they did that. Now, the dial of this watch, even though they say it's a field watch, is similar more to a dress watch, with the black dial, the silver ring around the indices, giving a nice pleasing break to the eye, a recessed subdial at the 6 o'clock, which to me looks just amazing. Now you can see that the watch, with its multi-levels of finishing on both the bracelet and the case, is slightly more dressy, at least in my opinion. So when they say this is the 1940 field watch, which is what this is referenced to, they say the name of this watch is the 1940. Then they say this is a field watch. To me, this doesn't feel anything like a field watch. This thing does have 50 meters of water resistance, and it does have a manual wind movement, like I said. And let's talk about that movement real quick. Now, inside is the ST1701 manual wind movement. Again, it is slightly decorated, and it does look quite nice, especially on a watch that's just over $100. It is in no way necessary that they did that, but it is nice. So, has a manual wind movement, 50 meters of water resistance, a K1 piece of domed mineral glass, slightly more dressy. In fact, when I first looked at this, this reminded me more of like the Bulova Frank Sinatra series as opposed to a field watch. So I think that now this thing does come on a strap and it does come on a different bracelet, but the body of the watch itself still is just reminiscent, not of a field watch. So I think it's not a good field watch at all. If you're going to buy this watch, you need to buy it as an everyday wearer, but not as a field watch. I think that would be a massive mistake. Now on my 7.25-inch wrist, you can see that this thing does wear slightly smaller, like I said, more like a 36 millimeter or a 37 millimeter watch. Now, I think that this is extremely comfortable as an everyday wear, especially if you put a watch back on the back, or if you can get this adjusted pretty close to your everyday wear and your wrist doesn't adjust too often to the temperature outside. I think this thing is amazing. Or if you want to put it on an upgraded leather strap, maybe a limited edition Italian calf leather strap, also from Chase Straps. Dress it up slightly, I think this thing would look pretty damn good. Okay, so honestly, this watch coming in around $120, $140, depending on where you pick it up from, especially from AliExpress. There's sales all the time. Is it worth the price point of just over $100? Now you have a full stainless steel case, a full stainless steel beads of rice bracelet. You have a K1 domed mineral crystal, so it's going to scratch a lot easier than sapphire, but that domed K1 mineral crystal looks a lot better than a dead flat piece of sapphire glass, so at least that's a positive. But the butterfly clasp, I just don't know why people still use the butterfly clasp. I think it's absolute garbage, and the fit of the watch will never be truly right. I would rather something like a milled fold-over clasp, especially if it's going to be a field-style watch. And here is really my moan about this watch, is the fact that they keep saying this is a field watch. In no way is this a field watch. It's not a field watch at all. It is way too decorated to be a field watch. Now, you can argue back and forth, and feel free to do it in the comments below. You can say, Chase, the reason it could be considered a field watch is it has 50 meters of water resistance. An average field watch has to be easily legible, and though it does have a black dial that is slightly more dressy, and yes, it also has that silver stripe around the indices. Well, Chase, maybe that silver stripe makes the legibility a little easier on the fly when I look down at my wrist. Whatever it is you want to argue, in no way is this reminiscent of a field watch. It's not. Look at all the field watches out there. This is not reminiscent of a 1940s field watch. It just isn't. It's not reminiscent of a field watch today. It's not reminiscent of a field watch in the past. Now, I love when I'm wrong. So if you guys know maybe what this watch is homaging, leave it down below and I'd be happy to correct myself. But I don't think I am. Now, I do love the multi-levels of finishing on the watch. I like the fact that it has some chamfered edges, a brushed case. I like the fact that it has high and brushed polishing on the bracelet, especially for a watch that is more affordable. And I also love the fact that it has the ST1701 manual wind movement in the watch itself. Now, I have made a complaint in the past with Nico Leonard and him using a SeaGull movement like an ST17 series movement in his man jump hour monstrosity for $1,200 US. That being said, this isn't a watch that's around $120. If it's on sale on AliExpress, like $100. So is it worth getting the watch? If you like the style of watch, you should get it. If you don't get it. They have other things, and purchase whatever you like. Anyway, is it a watch worth buying? If you want to spend the money, buy it. I think this is a great dress watch if you have an affordable watch collection. But again, if you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. Don't waste your money on something that you're not going to truly love. But is it worth the $120? Sure, absolutely. Anyway, if you're still here, do me a favor. I've already asked in the beginning of the video. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. It does help. Hit the notification bell. I got a lot of stuff coming in the future, and I'd love to hear you guys' comments down below. I try to respond to almost every single one. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one.